Drama hit late-night television in shocking fashion as Mark Wahlberg's explosive clash with Jimmy Kimmel left audiences stunned and the show in chaos. What started as a playful interview quickly spiraled into tension, leading to an unforgettable on-air showdown that had the crowd gasping and social media buzzing within minutes. Wahlberg's fiery reactions, Kimmel's sharp comebacks, and the unexpected twist that followed turned this segment into one of the most talked-about moments in late-night TV history. The night began like any other late-night talk show appearance, with Mark Wahlberg stepping onto Jimmy Kimmel's stage to loud applause, the audience eager to see the actor's trademark charm and sharp humor. At first, everything seemed routine, with Kimmel cracking jokes and Wahlberg responding with light banter, but there was an undeniable tension in the air that only grew stronger as the conversation progressed. What was expected to be a fun and entertaining interview quickly took a sharp turn when Kimmel pushed a little too far with his humor, striking a nerve that Wahlberg clearly didn't appreciate. The exchange that followed set the stage for one of the most shocking moments in late-night television, an unexpected clash that nobody in the audience could have predicted. Wahlberg is known for being direct, confident, and unafraid to speak his mind, and that side of him came out in full force when Kimmel made a joke about one of his recent projects. Instead of brushing it off, Wahlberg fired back with a remark that instantly shifted the energy in the room. The laughter from the crowd faltered, and the mood became noticeably more tense. Kimmel, never one to back down, responded with another sharp quip, and within seconds the atmosphere went from playful to confrontational. The back and forth wasn't the usual banter that late-night viewers enjoy. It was real, raw, and uncomfortable, as both men dug in with increasingly pointed words. For the audience watching live, the change in tone was almost surreal. Moments earlier they had been laughing at Wahlberg's stories, but now they were sitting in stunned silence, unsure of whether they were witnessing a scripted stunt or a genuine argument unraveling on stage. The cameras kept rolling, capturing every pause, glare, and biting remark. Wahlberg's body language shifted from relaxed to visibly tense, his arms crossed as he leaned forward in his chair, while Kimmel attempted to maintain control of the segment but was clearly rattled. This wasn't just entertainment anymore, it was a clash of personalities unfolding in real time. As the verbal sparring continued, Wahlberg's frustration grew more obvious. He pushed back harder with his words, reminding Kimmel that some subjects weren't up for mockery. The host tried to play it off with humor, but the audience could sense that Wahlberg was no longer interested in jokes. The chemistry that usually drives late-night TV had collapsed, replaced by an awkward energy that had everyone on edge. It was the kind of moment where viewers leaned closer to their screens, unable to look away, knowing they were witnessing something rare and unscripted. The tension reached its breaking point when Wahlberg abruptly stood up, cutting Kimmel off mid-sentence. The studio fell into complete silence as the actor gave one last pointed remark before walking off stage. The crowd gasped, unsure whether to clap, cheer, or stay silent. Kimmel, left sitting alone at his desk, scrambled to salvage the segment with a joke, but his nervous laughter only highlighted how serious the moment truly was. The live audience was still in shock, and within minutes clips of the incident began circulating online, spreading like wildfire across social media platforms. Viewers at home and fans on Twitter debated what they had just seen. Was it staged for ratings, or was this a genuine feud that had boiled over on national television? The reactions were explosive, with hashtags about Wahlberg's walkout trending almost instantly. Some praised him for standing his ground and refusing to be the butt of Kimmel's jokes, while others criticized him for overreacting and disrupting the show. No matter which side people fell on, one thing was certain: the clash had struck a nerve with audiences everywhere and become the centerpiece of late-night TV discussion. The incident is a reminder of how unpredictable live television can be. What starts out as harmless entertainment can spiral into something completely unplanned and unforgettable. Wahlberg's decision to walk out wasn't just a dramatic moment, it was a statement that resonated beyond the studio, showing how quickly dynamics can shift when boundaries are tested. The clash with Kimmel may have been unexpected, but it ensured that the segment will be remembered for years to come. For viewers, it wasn't just another late-night interview, it was must-see TV, the kind of unscripted drama that keeps people glued to their screens and sparks conversations long after the cameras stop rolling. The clash between Mark Wahlberg and Jimmy Kimmel didn't just happen in an instant, it built slowly, fueled by witty remarks that turned sharper with each passing minute. What began as lighthearted banter quickly escalated into a tense exchange that shifted the tone of the entire interview. Wahlberg, known for his confidence and no-nonsense personality, wasn't willing to let certain jokes slide, and Kimmel, equally known for his biting humor and refusal to back down, met him word for word. The result was a back and forth that felt less like comedy and more like a heated debate unraveling under the spotlight, leaving both the live audience and viewers at home caught in the middle of a showdown that was anything but scripted. As the conversation progressed, it became clear that Wahlberg wasn't amused by Kimmel's digs. A remark about one of Wahlberg's recent movie roles landed awkwardly, and instead of brushing it off, Wahlberg leaned in with a pointed response that stunned the crowd. The laughter that usually carries through Kimmel's show turned into uneasy murmurs. Wahlberg's tone was direct, almost challenging, and while Kimmel tried to keep things humorous, there was no denying the shift. What should have been a playful exchange started to feel personal, with Wahlberg's facial expressions and sharp delivery leaving no doubt that he wasn't simply playing along. Kimmel, used to navigating tough guests, attempted to regain control with quick comebacks, but each response seemed to intensify the situation. His trademark smirk, which usually lightens the mood, now only seemed to add fuel to the fire. Wahlberg countered with increasingly blunt remarks, and the dynamic between host and guest grew more uncomfortable by the second. The studio audience, normally loud and engaged, became hesitant to laugh, unsure if they were supposed to be entertained or witnessing an argument unfold in real time. This uneasy energy created a tension so thick it could be felt through the screen, making viewers lean closer and pay attention to every word. The body language told just as much of the story as the dialogue. Wahlberg sat with his posture stiff, arms crossing and then uncrossing as he gestured pointedly while speaking. His eyes stayed locked on Kimmel, signaling that he was not in the mood for games. Kimmel, on the other hand, shifted between forced laughter and attempts to move the conversation forward, but Wahlberg wouldn't let him. Instead, the actor pulled the focus back each time with direct rebuttals, making it clear he was not about to let the host have the last word. Every pause felt loaded, every second of silence filled with anticipation as the audience waited to see who would break next. The exchange wasn't loud or chaotic, but its intensity made it far more gripping. It wasn't about raised voices, it was about cutting remarks, sharp timing, and the uncomfortable realization that both men were determined to stand their ground. For late-night television, which thrives on polished interviews and controlled humor, this raw moment felt like a crack in the facade, exposing the real emotions behind the jokes. Wahlberg's refusal to back down highlighted his strong personality, while Kimmel's persistence in pushing the conversation revealed his instinct to keep the spotlight and control the narrative. What made the exchange so compelling was its unpredictability. At any second, the tone could have shifted back to laughter, but neither Wahlberg nor Kimmel seemed willing to let that happen. The audience sat in suspense, caught between laughter and shock, watching two strong personalities collide in a way that was both uncomfortable and captivating. Clips of this moment spread quickly online because it felt real. It wasn't polished, rehearsed, or fake. It was the kind of raw tension that people can't stop talking about because it breaks the norm of what late-night interviews are supposed to be. By the time Wahlberg delivered his final sharp remark, the room felt heavy with silence. Kimmel forced a smile, trying to steer the conversation back to safer ground, but the tension lingered. The segment had crossed a line, and everyone knew it. It wasn't just another interview gone slightly off script, it was a genuine clash of egos, live on camera, broadcast to millions. That tension, that unspoken battle between entertainer and guest, gave the moment a lasting impact. The tense exchange between Wahlberg and Kimmel became the heart of the controversy, sparking debates about respect, humor, and boundaries. Fans argued over whether Kimmel went too far or whether Wahlberg overreacted, but what no one could deny was the electrifying nature of the encounter. It was uncomfortable yet fascinating, awkward yet impossible to look away from. It delivered the kind of drama that late-night television rarely offers, ensuring that the moment would live on long after the cameras stopped. Rolling. The moment that defined the night came when the tension between Mark Wahlberg and Jimmy Kimmel could no longer be contained. After minutes of sharp exchanges and increasingly uncomfortable back-and-forth remarks, Wahlberg reached his breaking point. The studio, already buzzing with nervous energy, went silent as the actor leaned forward in his chair, delivered one final biting remark, and then stood up without hesitation. His decision to walk off the set was sudden, but it carried the weight of everything that had built up during the segment. It wasn't just a guest leaving early, it was an explosive exit that turned a late-night interview into a cultural talking point. Audiences in the studio gasped in shock, many unsure if what they were seeing was real or part of a planned stunt. Wahlberg didn't pause to reassure anyone or smooth things over. He pushed his chair back, gave Kimmel a look that said more than words ever could, and walked off stage with purpose. The cameras captured every step, the dramatic silence broken only by scattered clapping and awkward laughter from the audience, as if they weren't sure how to react. It was the kind of television moment that producers dream about but also dread: unscripted, raw, and impossible to control. Kimmel, usually quick on his feet and able to handle unpredictable guests, seemed momentarily stunned. He tried to make light of the situation with a half-hearted joke, but his forced laughter couldn't mask the fact that he had just lost his guest in the middle of a live segment. The balance of power had shifted instantly. Wahlberg's exit wasn't just physical, it was symbolic, a bold declaration that he wouldn't play along with humor he found offensive. For a host like Kimmel, who thrives on maintaining control of the conversation, the walkout was a rare and very public defeat. For the audience at home, the explosive exit replayed in slow motion. Clips of Wahlberg's departure began flooding social media within minutes, fans replaying his sharp final words and the look on Kimmel's face as the actor disappeared backstage. Some viewers applauded Wahlberg for standing up for himself, admiring his refusal to let the host have the upper hand. Others criticized him for being too sensitive, arguing that comedians like Kimmel thrive on pushing buttons and that guests should be prepared for anything. But regardless of opinion, everyone agreed on one thing: the walkout made for unforgettable television. What made the exit so powerful was the way it broke the unspoken rules of late-night talk shows. These programs are designed to entertain, to keep things smooth, funny, and lighthearted, even when disagreements pop up. Guests are expected to smile through the jokes, even if they sting. Wahlberg defied that expectation in the most dramatic way possible. By walking out, he shattered the carefully constructed illusion of late-night harmony, exposing the friction between celebrity guests and the comedians who interview them. It was a reminder that beneath the lights and laughter, real emotions can surface, and when they do, they create moments that people can't stop talking about. The aftermath of the exit carried as much weight as the moment itself. Kimmel attempted to carry on with the show, but the energy in the room had shifted completely. Every joke that followed felt a little flat, every laugh a little forced, as if the audience was still processing what they had just witnessed. For Wahlberg, the walkout instantly became part of his public narrative, a moment of defiance that defined him as someone unwilling to compromise his dignity for the sake of television laughs. Whether fans agreed with his actions or not, they couldn't deny the boldness of his choice.
Online, the footage spread like wildfire.
Memes, commentary, and heated debates filled timelines, with hashtags about Wahlberg's walkout trending for hours. Some fans rallied behind him, praising his authenticity and strength, while others insisted he overreacted to a comedian simply doing his job. The division only fueled more conversation, ensuring the incident stayed in the spotlight far longer than a typical late-night segment. Wahlberg's exit became more than just a moment of drama. It became a symbol of the larger conversation about comedy, respect, and the boundaries of entertainment. Explosive exits like this are rare in television, which is why they resonate so strongly. They break the predictability of polished programming and remind audiences of the unpredictability of live interactions. Wahlberg's decision to walk away wasn't rehearsed or scripted, it was real, and that authenticity is what made it stick. Viewers crave moments that feel raw and unfiltered, and this was exactly that. The power of his exit wasn't just in the act itself, but in the ripple effect it created, sparking conversations that reached far beyond the walls of the studio. In the end, Wahlberg's explosive exit will be remembered as the defining moment of that night. It turned a standard late-night appearance into one of the most talked-about events in recent memory, proving once again that the most unforgettable television happens when things don't go according to plan. For Wahlberg, it was a statement of self-respect, for Kimmel, a rare loss of control, and for audiences everywhere, a moment of pure, unscripted drama that made them sit up, rewind, and watch again. When Mark Wahlberg walked off Jimmy Kimmel's stage, the show might have moved on, but the internet did not. Within minutes, clips of the shocking moment were clipped, shared, and replayed across every social platform. The cameras had captured every second: the tense exchange, Wahlberg's sharp parting words, the stunned silence from the audience, and his decisive walk toward the exit. That footage instantly became viral fuel. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube lit up as fans, critics, and media outlets dissected what had just happened. The walkout wasn't just a late-night incident anymore. It was a cultural event sparking debates about respect, comedy, and celebrity boundaries. The first wave of reactions came from stunned fans who couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. Tweets poured in, some expressing support for Wahlberg's refusal to tolerate Kimmel's remarks, while others criticized him for being overly sensitive. The hashtags began trending within an hour: hashtag Mark Wahlberg, hashtag Jimmy Kimmel Live, and hashtag walkout moment topped social feeds. TikTok creators quickly joined in, editing clips with dramatic music, reaction videos, and memes that only amplified the incident's reach. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion, and no one wanted to be left out of the conversation. News outlets picked up the story almost immediately. Headlines read like something out of a Hollywood script: Mark Wahlberg walks off Jimmy Kimmel Live, explosive clash on late-night TV, and unscripted drama stuns viewers. By the next morning, major entertainment sites and even mainstream news channels were covering the feud, replaying the moment for audiences who had missed the original broadcast. The line between entertainment and reality blurred as the walkout was analyzed like a major cultural controversy rather than a late-night talk show slip. What fueled the viral aftermath even more was the divide in public opinion. Some fans applauded Wahlberg for taking a stand, arguing that comedians sometimes cross lines that shouldn't be crossed. They saw his exit as a moment of empowerment, proof that celebrities don't have to play along when jokes become personal. Others, however, sided with Kimmel, pointing out that late-night hosts are known for provocative humor and that Wahlberg should have expected tough questions and edgy jokes. This division created a storm of online debates, with every comment section turning into a battleground of opinions. Celebrities and industry figures also weighed in, adding fuel to the fire. Some fellow actors supported Wahlberg, hinting that late-night interviews can sometimes go too far in pursuit of laughs. Others defended Kimmel, praising his sharp wit and reminding fans that his humor has always pushed boundaries. The involvement of other public figures elevated the drama, transforming it from a single event into an industry-wide conversation about where comedy ends and disrespect begins. The viral nature of the walkout also had a ripple effect on both Wahlberg and Kimmel's public image. For Wahlberg, the exit solidified his reputation as someone who doesn't tolerate nonsense, reinforcing his tough, no-nonsense persona. Supporters admired his authenticity and refusal to fake laughter for the sake of entertainment. For Kimmel, the incident was a rare moment where he lost control of his own show, and while some viewers criticized him for pushing too far, others thought the drama only made his program more unpredictable and therefore more watchable. Either way, the clash brought attention to both men in a way no planned promotional appearance ever could. Beyond the drama, the viral aftermath proved the power of unscripted television. In a world saturated with carefully curated content, people crave authenticity, moments that feel raw, unfiltered, and real. Wahlberg's walkout delivered exactly that. Viewers weren't just entertained, they felt like they had witnessed something historic, a rupture in the smooth, polished world of late-night talk shows. That sense of witnessing the unexpected is what drove millions of clicks, shares, and comments in the days that followed. The longer the clip circulated, the more it evolved into internet culture. Memes compared Wahlberg's exit to famous walkouts in sports and politics, GIFs captured his sharp expressions, and TikTok edits exaggerated the drama with slow-motion effects and dramatic soundtracks. Fans recreated the moment in parody skits, ensuring the incident lived far beyond its original broadcast. What could have been a one-night headline became a lasting part of pop culture, stored in the endless memory of the internet. 4 weeks after, the story continued to resurface, referenced in interviews, late-night jokes on competing shows, and online commentary. Wahlberg's explosive exit became shorthand for standing up against mockery, while Kimmel's reaction was scrutinized frame by frame. The viral aftermath transformed the clash into more than just late-night drama. It became a cultural flashpoint that blurred the line between entertainment, conflict, and authenticity. In the end, the internet crowned the real winner, the moment itself. Wahlberg's walkout will be remembered less for who was right or wrong and more for how it played out live, unfiltered, and unscripted. The viral explosion that followed proved that audiences crave drama that feels real, and once they find it, they won't let it go. The clip became iconic not because it was polished or perfect, but because it was messy, unpredictable, and unforgettable. That's the true power of viral aftermath. It transforms a fleeting television segment into a cultural memory that millions will continue to revisit and debate for years to come.